Hi, this is Scott Trout, CEO of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. There are many life changes that can happen after divorce that make it difficult or impossible to uphold requirements of your divorce decree. The orders issued in a divorce are based on the facts presented at that time, but the circumstances used in issuing those orders can obviously change. If you feel a modification to your court orders might be necessary, talk to us at Cordell & Cordell.
Contact CordellCordell.com, 1065 East Hillsdale Boulevard, Suite 310, Foster City, California, 94404.
I wish this computer wasn't a piece of junk.
Man, every computer is a piece of junk. It's like when they say as soon as you drive a car off the lot, it starts plummeting in value. As soon as you right-click one time on your mouse or watch porn.
The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan. Here we have Brian Moote.
This better not get me in trouble with my girlfriend.
And Brad Nolan.
No, my wife wants to flip the swinger switch.
Just two boys without man buns.
What's up? I'm Brad Nolan. Brian Moote is here.
Holy moly, Brad Nolan's back.
I know. Hey, everybody.
He's been out for a while. He's been too busy with other jobs.
It's a tough game working with Brian at two different places. He's very demanding.
Because you have to do all the nuts and bolts of things.
Right.
I don't think I'm demanding.
No, I'm
I think that you are, the problem is that you have to be like a human shield, like a meat shield between me as talent on a morning show in Los Angeles and all the corporate politics and the BS that I have to know. Like, I have no idea that a lot of things are going on. It's funny. I've always asked for a level of, like, don't tell me unless I gotta know, right? And I've been at radio stations where I'm CC'd on like 1 billion emails that I don't care about,
right,
that I don't read, and then I get in trouble because I didn't read the one email I was supposed to on a thread of 40 from everyone in sales and promotions. And at Amp Radio LA, for some reason, like, I'm out of every email. I'm not in any emails, to the point at which
you are welcome, sir.
Thank you. But to the point at which now, like, I'll have these moments of, like, still having, like, entertainment paranoia from being in the business long enough to have been fired once, where once you start getting cut out of the loop, it's like, right, you like, want to get back in. You're like, whoa, hey, what are you guys talking about? You're like, it's nothing. You don't need to worry about it. Oh, really? Why? Like today, even today, my, like, intercom company email wasn't logging in. And
you're like, I've been here before.
And what's funny is at that point in time, I just accidentally played something over the air during a stop set that no one in the studio heard, but it was audio of Alexa saying, "Let's get this S cracking." I got stuff to do.
That.
No one heard it, except like 3 people in the text line were like, "Yo, microphone's on," and I was like, "No, man, it's all good. Microphone's on." and then as soon as that happened, I was like trying to bury it on the text board because I can't.
Right.
I don't have delete privileges.
Yeah,
but she flat out, it's like, bleep, let's get this bleep cracking. I got stuff to do, and it was in the middle of like a sad, depressing commercial stop set. But what's funny is that whatever commercial that was, they should thank me because everyone was like, whoa, whoa, that happened during an Affleck commercial.
Wow, this is awesome.
By the way, I just called Affleck.
That's fine.
Ben Affleck's Batmobile insurance.
I will say that it's mostly now, it's like, hey, Brian, in your inbox, probably 3 or 4 down is going to be something you need to pay attention to.
I don't know why I get offended when someone texts me to ask about an email. That's what they should do. I know myself well enough to know I'm not reading that. All right. Today on the show, we're going to talk about fake news. And amazingly, a comic was able to get a hold of the president on Air Force One. We're also going to hit on the Drake album, talk about some 4th of July stories. But first, I want to get into this. Well, one, I'm wearing a Biore nose strip right now.
It's pretty funny to sit here and look at you and take you seriously all at the same time.
Well, listen, man, I saw these at the store, and this all happens because, we're going to talk in a second about Brad being kind of a free man right now.
Right, yeah.
I'm not, he's still married to his lovely wife. They're just out of town, his wife and daughter, which when you're married, I've been there. Free man.
Free man.
And it means you're not going to do anything crazy. You're just going to do nothing. You're going to do nothing. And we're going to talk about Brad's new life of nothingness in a minute. But I had to get my armpit waxed on the morning show the other day. One armpit, which still, I have one hairy, one bald.
It was great to watch, I have to tell you. It was fun.
I had to get my armpit waxed, and the worst part is that Chelsea, the co-host on the morning show, she doesn't know how to do it. Neither do I. So she didn't pull all the, she pulled the wrong direction, and it went like a third of the way through. And then if you look at the video, she pulls it off like she's peeling wallpaper off a wall. Like it wasn't a clean rip, it was like a yank. But while I was buying wax strips, I saw Biore nose strips. I realized I've never done this before. And so today I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to yank a nose strip off of a never Biore stripped nose and see what happens right at the end of the first segment.
Okay, cool.
We'll marvel at it. But first, Brad,
That happens in 4 minutes.
Let's get into your. This thing's been on for a good 30 now.
Okay, it probably.
It's going to hurt more than the stupid armpit wax.
Take a layer of skin with it.
All right, so I want to talk about. So your wife and daughter are back up in Washington for a good 3 weeks to a month or something?
Yeah, about a month. Every summer they go up there for basically the month of July.
Which is that is the only month you want to be in Seattle for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really, if you had to pick a month, statistically, I'd say July 10th to August 10th are always months where you can count on it not being a rain on your happiness parade.
Yeah, her family's there, and then for a week I join them, and we go to a place called Ocean Shores, and we just hang out on the beach for a week, and then I go back to work, and then they stay there for another few weeks.
Here's what I love about Ocean Shores. If you live in anywhere that has a beach, you know there's a difference between resort beach and white trash, fire up the 4x4, drive on the sand beach.
This is that second one.
This beach doesn't. It's like if you go to Panama City Beach. My girlfriend her parents have a condo down there, and there's two different ends of the beach, right? There's the resorty end of the beach with a casino and a Dave and Buster's and all stuff for the kids, and there's one end of the beach where it's Rusty's Oyster Shack is the bar, and they've got the dollar bills stapled to the wall, and it's unbelievable. The Ocean Shores is that, but all of Washington Coast.
Yeah, Washington Coast is that.
All that.
Yeah, I'm with you. But it is a good time. We get a bunch of the kids together, and it's all the nephews and all that stuff.
You guys have a lot of that in your family?
We have up there. We have 3 nephews. I have 2 nephews, so we have 5 nephews, and my daughter's the only girl in the mix.
See, that's wild. I kind of. We'll get into this. This is for a show later in the week. We're going to talk about my brother Killian's wedding. And wedding planning, and just how my family seems so stunted in terms of growing up, because the youngest is now getting married. My parents are super into this wedding planning, or my mom is at least, and they just kind of assume Pat and I. Well, one, I ran off and got married at a courthouse and didn't tell anybody about it, and then got divorced and barely told anybody about that. It was a real whirlwind of a lot going on there. But it's almost like they kind of act like Killian is the one who's living his life correctly, and so when we talk, there's just no nephews. There's no my parents are just parents. They're not grandparents. Yeah, my mom's raising an 11-year-old, but that still doesn't count as a grandchild. No. It's still her little railer, my little godson. Yeah, it's interesting. My family's huge. Most of it I don't talk to. Most of it I don't like. Well, that makes sense. That's very on brand for you. Yeah, I don't like most of my people. You don't like most of anybody. Basically, my mom, my brother, and anything that's directly related to them, I'm cool with. Beyond that, I'm like, See, I have a huge extended family, Irish Catholic. We had a ton of cousins and stuff, so I understand. I love family. I love big families. I feel like what's happening to our family, my specific branch of the Moote Keefe clan, is that it's eventually going to dwindle down to just my brother Killian, his wife. It's going to have a couple kids. Me and my girlfriend might have a child or something, but it's they're not married. We'll look at these outlier, and Pat will be like, I don't know, man, I might. Before we pull this Biore strip off, here's what my day looks like. I get up, I go to work, I come home. I'm kind of naked a little bit sometimes. I take a nap whenever I feel like it. Do your thing. She told me to eat what's in the fridge. Haven't done that once. Why would you ever? It's not going to do it. Yeah. Clothes all over the apartment. Your refrigerator should be renamed Chipotle. Right. And your apartment should look like a giant walk-in closet. All right. That thing's actually changing color at this point, I think, from the outside. So let's go ahead and rip that. Oh. I'm disappointed. There's nothing on it. What? You know why? What happened? You do the weird charcoal masks and stuff sometimes because you're trying to do comedy bits on Instagram. I am on a big Hollywood super showbiz kick where I do detoxifying charcoal masks. Usually it's just to suck the hangover out. I don't do it for beauty. I do it for chemicals. Oh, man, crack masks. Get them at your local CVS. Kick that addiction. You said suck the hangover out, and I was like, It might work. Man, I was really hoping I'm going to try another one later. I really felt like I was going to be able to feel the clean. There's nothing on it. What's that? Who's that a picture to?
It's Nikki, of course. It's a little, it's like, hey, look what I'm doing, just so you know.
Podcasting, just checking in. Got my clothes on. There's no girls here.
Yeah, I think she set up the nanny cam, so it's fine.
Brian Moote is a stand-up comedian. Brad Nolan is a stand-up dad. The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan.
Fake news, Brad.
It's fake news time. What's up? I'm Brad Nolan. Brian Moote is here. You can find us online, brianwithbrad.com. And also, what's the phone number to text to get that app thing?
Oh, text Moote to 36260. We will have brand new episodes with Brian Moote with Brad Nolan. The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan.
This whole week.
Yeah, the entire week. We figured that, most radio shows take a break during the 4th of July week. Not us.
No.
We will make sure you have something at least semi-entertaining to get you from either home to work or some awful drive where you're trying to drown your kids out in the back. I mean, I think that's safe to say that that's what a lot of podcast listening is right now, right?
Yeah.
When you drive, this is a side note, we're going to talk about fake news and we're going to talk about Stuttering John from the Howard Stern Show actually legitimately getting through to Air Force One and talking to the president. And spoiler alert, the president sounds like a nice guy. That always bums me out when Trump gives me a reason not to hate him. In full disclosure. When you drive, how is Declan, your 3-year-old, on road trips?
She is mostly awesome. In fact, when we drove down here from Seattle to California for this job in January or whenever month they came down, she's awesome. She just sleeps. She hangs out. She gets a little bit annoyed and, so do we all, but as a child, they don't handle the annoy. They don't just look out the window and think about being annoyed. They're just very vocal.
They want to tell you about it.
Yeah. I don't want to be. How far are we away?
Well, I feel like when kids discover being annoyed, they feel like you haven't learned it yet. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they don't know that you should be feeling like this.
Right.
It's almost as if they're in the position of they're teaching you.
Yeah.
So she's sitting in the back going, "This is way boring. This is so stupid. We should not be sitting in this car very long. This is too long to be sitting in this car. I bet these two morons in the front don't even know that this is stupid." And they're like, "Hey, guys, we've been in the car too long. This is breaking news. This is super boring."
Yeah, and then we immediately pull over, and then she's fine for another hour. But it was funny. After about a while, halfway down the trip, she goes, "Now we're far from everywhere. We're not close to Seattle, and we're not close to L.A."
She's like,
I was like, that's very sweet.
well, when you're making that drive, if you've ever made that drive from down I-5 from Seattle to Los Angeles, you hit a point where you don't need a map, you don't need smartphones. All it is trees, and you're like, this ain't home, and this ain't L.A., this ain't a place anybody lives. I don't need to know anything about anything to know. I don't need to navigate stars. I don't need to know orienteering. I know we lost, and I'm bored, and I want to go to that truck stop over there and just pig out on biscuits and gravy right now.
And then you try to go there, and you're like, I don't want to be here.
We need to keep driving.
The fake news.
All right, this story I saw today, and I thought it was fake news. And that's the thing. I'm getting to the point now where I'm starting to feel like fake news is a concept the same as farts. Whoever smelt it, dealt it. The first person to yell fake news has no idea what they're saying, what they're talking about. And I'm not, listen, this isn't a dig at the president, though he says fake news a lot. But, a lot of people claim like, oh, that's fake news. That's fake news. Why? Because you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
So the easiest way to not be accused of fake news is to accuse someone else of fake news and be like, well, everything you're saying is complete BS. So, of course, what I'm saying isn't.
I use it interchangeably with the same way that Ron Burgundy says, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Like, you're live. I don't believe you. No, I just like, anytime I hear something that sounds even remotely fishy, I'm like, fake news. For sure.
It's become a cultural trend. It's going to be if it's not already in the dictionary, added officially by, is it Webster? Does Webster
Someone
do that?
does some dumb list.
Yeah, and they put it out and they're like, anyone cares. Oh, yeah,
biggest phrase of the year.
Oh, well, as soon as they added YOLO to the dictionary, I was like, guys, suck it. You got
it's fake news.
Legitimately. So, Stuttering John, John Melendez formerly of the Howard Stern Show, he called and got numbers, probably from the Howard Stern days. He probably had some political numbers.
Yeah.
Called as Senator from New Jersey, Bob Menendez. And he called and legitimately got through to Air Force One to where Donald Trump was flying back from a rally in North Dakota, and it's like a 4-minute phone call. Now, I have a minute and 30 of it. And the reason I want to play all of it, technically radio-wise, you're like, that's too long a call, a minute 30. But you have to just hear how much of a nice guy Trump is. And he's honestly willing to talk to this, who he thinks is a senator, and he wishes him well on the victory. And it's really an unbelievable thing. And as somebody who, in full disclosure, is a bit of a Trump hater, I hear this, I'm like, man, where's this guy?
Yeah.
All right, so this is the call, and you hear immediately them patch him through to Air Force One. Here we go.
Sir, your call is connected. Hi, Bob.
Hey, how are you?
How are you? Congratulations on everything. We're proud of you.
Nice guy.
Congratulations. Great job. You went through a tough situation, and I don't think a very fair situation, but congratulations.
Isn't that what it sounds like when you're flushing a toilet on a plane? Is he in the bathroom?
He might be.
Okay.
That'd be funny if he was. Listen, you caught me at a weird time. This is not fake news. I'm on the can, Bob. See, that sounds like that was only 18 seconds of Donald Trump, and I literally listened to that and I go, man, he sounds like a really nice guy. And then he gets in front of these on these podiums and stuff, and that's a different guy that I hear there, who's up there ranting and ripping Jimmy Fallon, telling him to be a man, Jimmy. It's like, what happened to this nice guy? All right, now you can tell that Stuttering John wants to try to get him to say some wild stuff, and he doesn't.
Thank you so much. And, I'm sorry to bother you, Mr. President, but obviously my constituents are giving me a lot of beef about this immigration thing. I know that you did something really noble, by trying to, get the kids back with their families, but I have to answer to them. What can I tell them that you're going to do moving forward?
Bob, let me just tell you, I want to be able to take care of the situation every bit as much as anybody else at the top level. I'd like to do the larger solution rather than the smaller solution. They're doing them step by step. I think we could do the whole thing. I have a good relationship with the party. You have a good relationship with the party. And I think we could do a real immigration bill. We have to have security at the border. We have to have it. I mean, look, you got 60% of the country, they've got to have security at the border. And that's a good issue for the Democrats too, Bob. It's not like it's good for you or good for me. It's good for both of us. People are tired of the problems. You take care. I will speak to you soon, Bob. Take care of yourself.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Mr. President.
Thank you, Bob. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
All right, Bob Moote.
Did he say Baba Booey? Baba Booey.
I think he says something like Baba Booey. Like he tried to get in his little Stern.
Yeah, Baba
now,
Booey.
what I love, this a couple things I love about this. Now, one, Stuttering John's from the Stern Show. And, I mean, that's how much power a president has in terms of, like, fangirling out. Is that you could have the craziest prank call ready to go, and you get on the phone with the president, and you just ask him legitimate questions, right? Like Stuttering John.
You just immediately scare.
Like this guy's made a career of like hooking like cattle prods to his testicles and doing all this wild radio shenanigans, and he gets on the phone with the president as Senator Bob Menendez and just starts asking questions about border security, and then he goes on to ask about health care, and the president is being so nice to him. Just so nice.
And the thing is, Stuttering John actually has a long history of getting people in these situations. He's the guy that goes to the red carpet and gets people to say crazy stuff. And yeah, he got on the phone with him and he was like...
I mean, he folded!
He
actually got a good interview out of the president where he sounded like a nice guy. He aired this. I heard this prank call like, oh, this is going to be epic. And I listened to it, I'm like, you just made the president the most likable. That's the most likable he's been. His poll numbers are going to shoot up 6%. Senator Bob Menendez actually goes, wow, that's great. I welcome any opportunity I could have to have a real conversation with the president.
That is funny, though. Stuttering John, he's the king of that.
I know. That's why it's just insane.
You're listening to The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan.
What's up? I'm Brad Nolan, at Brad Nolan on Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. Just got to get my plugs in.
Hey, what's happening? I'm Brian Moote, and you can find me at Moote Points on Twitter and at Instagram, Moote Comedy. Though at this point, I think just look up Moote, and I think I'm going to dominate that.
That's how I do it.
Listen, I got to be honest. So remember I told you I definitely know where all the Brian Moots are in the United States and Canada. I know there's one in Salt Lake City. I've talked to him. His grandmother thinks that I'm related to them. It's the wrong Brian Moot, but she's been very nice. Janice Moot's a sweetheart. Brian Moot in Salt Lake City is a sweetheart as well. I don't think he and I will ever kick it. I met him one time, and he's super Mormon. So we just high-fived, and he went about our ways. There's another Brian Moot in Ontario, Canada, who hit me up years back because he wanted me to take down my more, quote, edgy content from YouTube because he was a 42-year-old trying to get a job. And I was like, man,
no.
I was like, that's funny. You mean my crappy comedy on YouTube is costing both of us jobs in the real world? It's funny.
That is funny.
Recently, my Google alerts went off for a Brian Moot, another Brian Moot in Canada. Apparently, we've got a strong showing up there. A 51-year-old Brian Moot in Manitoba is going down for arson. He tried to burn up a shopping place. It was a failed arson, so that was kind of a bummer. Because they were able
not
to,
even good at it.
They were able to control the fire. The fire just like burned him. He's like tried to set a metal door on fire like a big idiot. So I'm slowly creeping up to dominating the world of Brian Moots, much like the Highlander.
And Moot does sound like a Canadian name or someone from... Oh, don't you know?
Foreign.
My name is Brian Moot.
Moot. It does sound like sounds like someone in Fargo. Oh, go ask Moot. And it's just like a big fat guy working at a Waffle House behind the counter. You know the guy who like kind of tries to half-ass comb it over, but it's only bangs in the front and bald here, and big fat dude with a giant neck. And
like Drake, he probably has secret children.
Good segue, Brad.
Thank you.
Drake's album came out last week, Scorpion. And talk about, you can say whatever you want about rap beefs. We haven't had a good one in a long time. I think this has been the best one, Pusha T and Drake, because Pusha T came out recently and was the one who claimed in a diss track, yo, you got a secret kid you're hiding. You might address that kid. And he was like, whoa. But if that didn't show how big that is in terms of PR and marketing, his album was certified platinum almost instantaneously.
Yeah, it was within, like I read it earlier, within 120 seconds.
Yeah. I mean,
2 minutes.
Yeah, they don't even know because everybody was trying to download and stream it, and it was at midnight East Coast time. People were like, "Bam! Gotta see this Drake album," because everybody was waiting for him to respond to this Pusha T beef, which he hadn't done, and then. He said he was gonna, take it had been rumored that he had the diss track ready to go. It would end both Kanye and Drake's and Pusha T's careers, but he was gonna take the high road on it. When really, after seeing what happened last night, just some marketing guy at the label was like, "Dude, listen, trust me. When Biggie and Tupac were beefing, every album was going platinum."
Yeah.
Like within a week. And that was when you had to buy the CD because everyone wanted to know what they were going to say.
Yeah.
Because the internet kind of ruined the whole diss track thing. Now people just throw them out there all willy-nilly on SoundCloud. And we all expect, oh, damn, when's Drake coming back?
Better be within 24 hours.
Yeah, oh, he's got to write his raps now?
Yeah.
It's not a freestyle. No one is freestyling. Nobody freestyles a diss track. You can't. You have to methodically think those out. I think 90% of the time we think people are freestyling anyway. They're just rapping stuff they wrote
years ago.
Whenever ago. No one's actually freestyling. And anytime you see it,
unless you're talking about Eminem in a rap battle.
Right. Yeah.
That's
like
the only time.
What I heard it on the movie 8 Mile, that was straight up a freestyle. They had no idea. They didn't script it.
No.
They just wrote like, up to you, dog.
Yeah.
Like in the script.
Did it.
And he nailed it. So the album came out, and he did address his son, Adonis. He addressed it. And I think
I'm sorry. I think the name's funny.
Adonis?
Considering the situation.
It is.
Like, just an Adonis on his back.
Like, right? Isn't Adonis like supposed to be some like Herculean type?
Yeah. But just big. Just
strong
like,
man.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got Drake who just sings on most of his songs. It's not a very Adonis. Busta Rhymes would have a kid named Adonis.
Yes.
Drake would not. So he came out, and there's been a few songs that have addressed it. Here's the thing I think is interesting. One of the lines in Emotionless is that he says he has a son, and he wasn't trying to protect. He wasn't trying to keep his world or his son or the world from his son. He was trying to keep his son from the world.
Right.
Like
I'm protecting my son.
Yo, I wasn't. It's basically saying like y'all got it wrong. Pusha T didn't expose me. He didn't expose anything. Like, I wasn't hiding him because I was embarrassed that I knocked up a Instagram softcore porn chick.
Yeah, from France.
Yeah, from Europe. It was that I wanted to make sure that he stayed protected from the paparazzi and from the it's like, no, that is, and a lot of people are applauding him. So let me get that out of the way. A lot of people are applauding him.
Yes, a lot of people are saying on one side of the aisle, oh my gosh, look at this. He's a real man. He's taking responsibility. He's everything.
Well, he was trying to protect his kid. This was for his kid.
Yeah, don't you know? And the sheeple have latched onto that and gone that route. Now I think people wanted to go that route. Right.
Like, I think if you did market research on Drake, he's been so likable. Even when he's been like a brutal tyrant in rap battles. Damn near ended Meek Mill's career on diss tracks before Meek Mill kind of did that to himself by going to prison. But now he's back. Meek's back. Like, people, I think, wanted a reason to believe Drake wasn't a deadbeat, like, wasn't a monster, wasn't hiding this kid, look, wasn't what Pusha T said he was in this song, where he's like, stop denying a child, be a father to your child. So I think that because we want to believe that, when we hear any rhyme of any excuse, like, oh no, he was just doing it for his kid's sake, he didn't want his kid on TMZ, oh god, I feel like, oh god, the Drake that I love is still fine. I just think, to me, it's like, it's clever, but I think it's a bunch of BS. Like, I think, dude, if Pusha T doesn't come out like that song, you didn't write that song before Pusha T dropped that diss track. This was not a song you had in the can.
Well, and we know that because another song in the album is called, March 14th, which is just a couple months ago when he found out.
Right.
Just before Pusha T found out.
when everybody found out in his camp because of the DNA test. I mean, the other thing too is that, like, she released the text messages. This wasn't like a brand new rumor. She released the text messages back right after it happened, where he was saying, like, I need you to get an abortion, and she's like, nope, not going to do it. Now, the other song that I have a problem with, it's I can't remember the name of the song. It doesn't matter at this point, really. But he basically addresses the relationship with his baby mom and says it only happened once. And, you know, people only say it only has to happen once. It only happened once. And that was, I only saw her twice, but it only took once. And for me, it's like, dude, we don't need to know that. Like, why are you trying to act like that? That made me irritated because it reminded me of every crappy, disgusting dude who hooked up with a girl that they are embarrassed of, and was like, yo, dude, but only once, bro, and I was drunk, and like, I don't care, man. Just you are the father. Just live your life. Thank you, Maury. You know what I mean? It just felt like he was trying to downplay a relationship with his baby mother, and I think that's just an awful low blow.
He also, in that song, insulted her a few times, saying that stuff wasn't as good as the new stuff, like, meaning, like, the sex wasn't that good, and it was like, it's just like, why do you have to go there?
Dude.
And then in another track, he goes, hopefully your mom and I can get along better. Bro, you're writing diss tracks to her.
You were an a-hole for like a year. Get out of here.
She's just a painter in France.
She's a painter with a big old butt. She knows how to work those filters. She does have a big old butt. I mean,
I've been looking at the Instagram.
All right, we creeped. In full disclosure, I think everybody creeped. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk about some 4th of July stuff because it's 4th of July this week.
Yeah.
America's birthday.
I don't have any horns over here.
Oh, I do. Oh, that's just the crash noise. That always happens to me.
The car crash is the worst thing. Okay.
That's worse.
Yeah. The preloaded sound effects are awesome.
Why would they put this on? Well, I like this one.
I believe a woman should praise the man, you know.
That's a little story I painted right there. All right, let's go back to here we go. This is what we wanted. If you guys can go back in your mind.
The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan. Here we have Brian Moote
This better not get me in trouble with my girlfriend.
and Brad Nolan.
No, my wife wants to flip the swinger switch.
Just two boys without man buns.
What's up? I'm Brad Nolan. We've got fireworks all around us.
It's 4th of July week, man.
Yeah, that's Brian Moote.
I feel like this is my personal Super Bowl. This week is my personal Super Bowl.
Yeah?
Well, these get aggressive as they go, huh?
Did we know that or no?
No, I didn't know what it sounded like. I just typed in fireworks into my soundboard. It goes from like fireworks to Civil War real quick,
a little bit.
Like about midway through there, let's take
Which
that
is
in
exactly how dogs think of it.
That is true, man.
You know?
Growing up on a farm, it's funny because Whidbey Island, Washington, the Super Bowl, or the 4th of July was my Super Bowl and my mom's Armageddon with the animals. Like, it was all the horses were locked up in the stalls, all the dogs were locked in the bathroom. My mom would play music in the barn and in the house just to keep all the animals from, one, running through the fence and then running away forever. Because that's a real bummer when the horses run away. I love 4th of July. As a kid, growing up in Whidbey Island, man, I mean, I'm not positive. There's no way I should have all my fingers, let's put it that way.
Right. Well, you Whidbey Island's kind of a rednecky type place,
it's more
right?
of the flies, man.
Yeah. And I grew up in a rednecky type place, and there's no way either of us should be working a full set of 10.
No,
because I remember when I was a kid, this kid Josh, oh my gosh. Hi, Josh.
We all know a Josh.
And he's probably
We all know a
listening.
Josh. You'd be like, good God, Josh. Yeah. One of my best friends, Josh Gianni. I'll even say it. He wouldn't even disagree with you.
I'll say Josh Fleming. He would disagree with me. He always had the idea that whatever the worst thing you could think of, that's what's about to happen. And I don't know
he was
how
paranoid, like that guy.
No. He was, whatever the worst idea you can think of,
That was what
he's doing that.
Okay, that's going to happen.
Yes.
So you guys are like, for example, you climb up a big thing to jump in the water.
And he's
like, backflip!
Yeah.
And you're like, no!
Yeah. No, we should not be doing that.
You need clearance, man!
Yeah. So that's him. And I'm not sure what he's doing now. I think he might be a security guard. I'm not sure.
It's funny.
Hi, Josh.
My buddy Josh went to the military, and now is a helicopter pilot and flies people all over the Grand Canyon. Which I should look him up because my girlfriend and I are going to Vegas for her birthday, and I just thought about
a hop skip. What
a great place to not propose. Even though when you hit your 30s, every time you do something like I'm gonna take my girlfriend on a helicopter ride, everyone's like, here it comes! Here it comes! The question is, what buffet are we going to do back in Vegas when we get back? You kidding me? Listen, I already went down that road.
Yeah.
I don't plan on doing it again.
Plus, I don't know if your girlfriend likes you that much. You know what I mean?
It's a little touch and go.
Is it?
There's days.
Yeah.
You know what? I think
I don't mean doesn't like you in general. I just mean likes you enough to be like, let's get married.
No, she likes me enough to do that. Not to get married, but she likes me enough to want to be with me for the foreseeable future.
Right.
I just don't think she likes the idea of spending all that money. And I know that I look at our relationship like it's like a batting average. You know what I mean? Right. Like I'm trying to get up. There's been months where I've been batting .330. Decent numbers. Like I'm getting on base, but my slugging percentage is garbage.
Yeah.
And then there's been months where I'm like, man, I'm hitting them over the fence, and then every once in a while I just get picked off at first with something stupid. We were talking the other day about. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to dig myself any more holes.
Yeah, let's not do that. Okay.
4th of July for me was. I listen. I don't think she listens to this show. And,
yeah, but my wife does, and I'm sure she's soon to be friends with your girlfriend.
Well, hey, Nikki, how about you don't snitch, huh? How about that? Everyone out there, don't tweet at her. She doesn't have Twitter. It's also a great thing.
No, she does.
My girlfriend, she doesn't mess with Twitter. She's not much of a social media person. In fact, she makes me post for her. She'll be like, and then I feel like I'm a little bit of a bitch there because she'll go, "Hey, will you just post that picture of us all last night at that restaurant on my Instagram?" I'm like, "I have," and she goes, "No, on my phone. Just get my phone and post it." I'm like, what do you want me to say? And she's like, I don't know, just write something. I'm like, why? Do I have to tag? And she's like, and make sure you tag everybody. How about you make sure you do this? and then she'll be like, but don't post, read me what you wrote. I'm like, this is so ridiculous.
It's the social media equivalent of, I don't care where we eat. Want to go here? No.
Not at all. My 4th of July was always just, it started off with going to the Indian reservation. That was my favorite, man. The reservations, and I don't know if you haven't been to an Indian reservation as a teenager to get fireworks, man, that's an experience because that's where you learn that you can wheel and deal and negotiate.
Yes,
and I think
for me it wasn't Indian reservations; it was flea markets.
Okay, very similar vibe, similar thing. So the reservations up in the Seattle area, we go to the Nooksack one, which is a hilarious name as a kid. We go, man, there's all these little Indian reservations, and they were allowed to sell legit explosives.
Yeah,
legitimate Like stuff that you'd get, and you're like, this is a stick of dynamite.
That's where I'm going when I'm going to rob a bank.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Yeah. And we could trade video games for it. I remember like having no conscious awareness of, hey, maybe this is like super dangerous. I remember one time this guy was selling tennis ball bombs, right? So basically they drill out the middle of a tennis ball and fill it with black powder. And he was like, yo, you got to get this tennis ball bomb. This is the most devastating tennis ball bomb you can get. And I'm like, really? Why? And he goes, this one's packed with BBs.
Oh, it's like a Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, it's
situation.
like shrapnel. He packed a tennis ball with shrapnel just for us to blow stuff up. And we used to go there. We'd come back with so much, like just so many explosives. And the funny part is it wasn't until about, it was way too late at this point, though, because then we could drive. But when we were like 12, 13, 14, my dad took us to the reservation because that's where he could get like a lot of the big, mortar finales, right? And so he would go there to get a great deal on all these crazy, cool, colorful fireworks.
Actual
for the
fireworks,
for the stuff.
right.
For the and then he had no idea that you could just go buy whatever you want in terms of explosives. And you always had to answer this question, which was always funny to me, where you go up and you're like, hey man, do you guys have any M100s, M250s? And the guy would go, are you a cop? You have to tell me.
Yeah. Did you know?
Busted. I'm a 12-year-old undercover.
Cops can't lie.
Right. So stupid. And so we would get all these explosives, and my mom would go crazy because we'd be like lighting quarter sticks of dynamite and throwing them in the water or blowing stuff up. I'm pretty sure the statute of limitations went out on this one, but if not, whatever. My brother... Everyone was into blowing stuff up, like mailboxes and things like that. And my brother and his buddy were like, hey, let's put an M80, which isn't that, that's not that big. It'll blow up a mailbox, but let's put it in the phone booth in like broad daylight. And they put this thing in the phone booth, and the M80 exploded. And by the way, this is super illegal. You can't blow up a phone booth. The phone booth, and this is like an old school one like Superman would go into, right? Glass everywhere.
Right.
It like filleted like a banana peel. Like the glass blew out, the walls came down, the ceiling. All it was a phone sitting on a pole, and the phone handle, the receiver had blown off the metal cord too. So that was like laying in the street.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was insane, and it was like one of those things where they really kind of ruined that year because they blew up the phone booth like on July 3rd, and then. From that point on, we all felt like I don't know how to. I can only equate it to like gangs, where like a murder goes down and everyone's got to lay low, right? Because they know the cops are out looking. If there's a gang member listening right now, you're probably like it's not even close to how it hahappens. But it's very similar, man.
Yeah, it's similar to what we've seen
some country gang stuff
in the movies.
Right,
and
dude.
That's the same feeling we assume.
Everybody got to lay low because the Allen County sheriffs are out there looking for whoever blew up this phone booth. So it was the only 4th of July where everyone's, like every parent was like, hey, our kids are all on the beach with us shooting off fireworks. What happened? And they're like, crime. Crime happened. We're laying low. We're in a safe house right now.
We can't end until I do this.
The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's Employee of the Month, 2 months in a row. Leave a message at the... Hi, Jamie. It's me, Jamie. I just had a new idea for our song about the Name Your Price tool. So when it's like, tell us what you want to pay, hey, 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 and the trombone goes, blah, 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 and you say, we'll help you find coverage options to fit your budget. Then we just all do finger snaps while a choir goes, savings coming at ya, savings coming at ya. Yes? No? Maybe? Anyway, see you practice tonight. I got new lyrics for the rap break.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Right now, you can get both Sprint's unlimited plan and the all-new Samsung Galaxy S10 included for just $35 per month per line for 5 lines. All you need is approved credit and an 18-month lease. No trade-in required. Visit a Sprint store, sprint.com, or call 800-SPRINT-1.
S10 128 gigabyte, $10 a month, up to 2050 month credit applied, then 2 bills or canceled early, mail balance due, unlimited basic up to 930/20, pay $32 per month per line, auto pay, data defertilization to congestion, speed maximum, 0 stores and restrictions apply.